We are back in a Thursday edition of Danny and Cello. I am Danny Williams along with Marcello Romano, Chavi, in a different studio this time. Everything kind of looks the same to you guys, but to us, I don't even know what's going to happen here. No, I'm just kidding. We got a really good one for you guys. The season starts tonight. You have the Eagles and the Cowboys kicking off the 2025 NFL season. You have the Broncos this weekend hosting the Titans. The college football weekend's already in full swing, so it's here. Football is here. So it's like we wait so long, Cello, for the football season to get here. And it comes and goes the quickest of all of the professional, major four seasons. It comes and goes so quick. Let's savor it. Let's savor the flavor a little bit, because this journey from now, who and what Bo Nix is, the Broncos, what they were from last year to what we hope is going to be a championship contender in the next 2 years. It feels good. It feels good being a Broncos fan again.
What's your favorite holiday?
I like.
Would it be Christmas?
I think it's Christmas.
So is this NFL Christmas to you?
Yeah, it is. This is.
And what did you ask for?
What did I ask for? I think
this feels like Danny
question.
Chavi. This time it feels like Danny is like, I wasn't really good this year, but I'm still going to try and get that PS5 or something. But as a football fan, you're like, I want the Broncos to be good, but it doesn't seem like you want the full gift.
Listen, I want it. It's my money, and I want it now. Okay? So I'm telling you, I want it bad for these Broncos, Cello. We both do. But I just think this is part of the progression. This is part of the process. This year is going to be fulfilling in a lot of ways. I think it's going to be the establishment of Bo Nix as an elite quarterback in the league. Okay, I think that it's going to be the solidification of one of the best defenses in the NFL. And then, what do they say about the football? We say it's what?
Funny shaped.
And it what? Bounces super weird. So turnovers, sacks, those things come in bunches. Great stuff. It's hard for me to predict Super Bowl, but I think the Broncos are knocking on the door of AFC Championship.
All right, well then on your wish list was Nik Bonitto getting done prior to the season beginning. Was that on your wish list? Because I remember a couple weeks back you were like, make this dude earn it.
No,
he hasn't proven enough to me yet.
Do you know what? I know what you're trying to do.
Because that just happened today.
I know what you're trying to do, and I don't like it. The reality is, Cello,
you hate this deal.
No, we're both right. Because the deal, if you look at it, is 4 years, $106 million, okay? But it's $70 million in guarantees. So you can chop this up in a couple ways. It's all about the guaranteed money. So you look at this as $70 million essentially over the next 3 years. So what's 70 divided by 3? Let's run those numbers real quick. It's $23.5 million. Or if you want to look at it, the whole $106 million, then this deal is essentially a $26.5 million deal.
What did Karlaftis get?
Less than that.
So he got a little bit more than that.
Yep.
Everyone that was scared because of what happened with Micah Parsons, and I didn't really think there was a correlation between the two players.
No.
Not really at all, and you can kind of see that the way that this contract kind of laid itself out. But this just goes to prove to you again that the Denver Broncos, under this new leadership and ownership, and then general manager who took some cuts a while ago, and probably a lot of places he wouldn't still be around. But you got to credit the ownership for giving him another opportunity. And then we don't even talk about it, Danny, but Sean Payton wasn't even their first pick, it didn't seem like.
Oh, Cello, I think we both know that Sean Payton was not only not their first choice, he was maybe their fourth choice, because as we're looking at the couple of years as you're going through Nathaniel Hackett to get to Sean Payton, the Broncos kind of fell in and out of love of who they wanted. Jim Harbaugh. We know that. That was established, okay? And then they were high on Kevin O'Connell for a week. I remember Kevin O'Connell was like, oh, man, he's gaining some steam. Yeah. He seems like the guy. If Cliff says it, it's almost true, So it's funny how things kind of work out in life. Well, in sports sometimes, but even I guess in life, you don't want to marry your fourth choice, but this is business. This is sports. This is different, So yeah, that's a good point, Cello. How it's kind of having all come together now for one. And we said it here when we were talking before the show over our many hours of rehearsal. we were talking, said basically the Broncos could have had any owners. Once you have billions, well, then you have billions. So they could have had any ownership group. So for the trust and Joe Ellis to have taken kind of as much heat as he did for the dip in who and what the franchise became for 10 years, they found
Was
a way.
that fair?
No.
I mean, like, listen,
It wasn't fair.
We've all seen The Dark Knight, right? You either live long enough to become. Wait a minute. How does that go?
We ride together. We die together. We're bad boys for life. Is that
wrong movie.
Oh, sorry.
You either live long enough to become the villain, or I don't know the other part of it.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, like a lot of people in Broncos country, you have to keep in mind, Pat Bowlen set a standard that was as high as they could go.
Yes.
Now, as far as being like financially rich, it's not even close to what the ownership group has now.
Well,
but for the Broncos to have gone from Pat Bowlen and then still stayed competitive even during the trust years with John and Joe, I don't think they get enough credit for it. And maybe I underestimated the value of ownership back in the day.
We did.
Big time.
Well, Peyton Manning covered a lot of that up because so the last time we ever saw, okay, like the Broncos fans, media.
I got it. Die a hero or live long enough to become a villain.
Where is she?
My bad.
Sorry. So what was I saying? The Broncos. Okay, the last time we ever saw Pat Bowlen in public was at Peyton Manning's introductory intro
Sound it out.
presser. And he had a suit on. He was sitting in a chair. I don't even know if he spoke. I think he was just there. Maybe I have to go back and look at that. But Peyton Manning thanked Pat Bowlen. Peyton Manning thanked John Elway. And at that point, he went into probably a pretty serious decline. And even at that point, wasn't the same Pat Bowlen that created all of this today. So the next 4 years were 4 of the best years any team has ever had in the history of the National Football League. Tommy. And Peyton Manning covered all of that up, right? And then what happens?
You got Chavi dying back there. You're trying so hard. That's his Berman, by the way.
Yeah,
Chavi.
sorry.
Rum and bumble and stuff. You're talking about the exit of Pat Bowlen basically being in charge day to day.
I'm filling the gaps with you.
Yeah, well, what my point and my question asking you that earlier was, I don't know that was all fair, the negativity that surrounded the Broncos. Now, you go 9 straight years with not getting into the postseason.
After never having back-to-back losing seasons since 1977 and since Pat Bowlen.
And then just mistake after mistake. I mean, people are going to certainly highlight the negatives more than they will the positive during that time because there wasn't many.
Yeah.
But to go full circle and then to be lucky enough to have the Walton Penner ownership group take over, and it's like Jurassic Park, Danny. They spare no expense.
Yeah.
They do it all. They do it to the highest of level. I mean, they replaced a field for one game in their first season owning the team.
$500,000 it cost them.
And we've seen all these different players that have gotten deals this year. It hasn't been out in the limelight. Like, nobody's, like, there wasn't, other than JFM, I think he's the only one who's probably left and still maybe a little disgruntled. But
That'll teach you to keep your mouth shut, Franklin Myers.
Everybody that we've been talking about, are they worthy of these contract extensions? Should they do it? The Broncos have answered all those questions, and that's before they even take a snap of regular season football.
There's something to kind of taking care of your own guys. And Bonitto here, the signing of Bonitto shows you it's a win for the organization. Bonitto at 62. Woo! You know what I mean, right? George Payton couldn't believe it. So for that to kind of come into fruition now and this guy to become this player that is, okay, so back to the deal real quick, and then I want to tie it back into your ownership stuff, which was good stuff. You're good today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Bonitto gets this deal, which is essentially like we said the Broncos had 25 on the table. He's saying, well, Max Crosby's making 35, and I'm older, and I had more sacks than like every other guy in the league minus 2 guys last year, right, Bonitto? So Bonitto's thinking there was the chance, the risk of him rolling the dice on himself for this season to try to, get into the 30s, somewhere into the 30s, okay?
Yeah.
And an agent is going to battle for his player because this likely is the biggest contract Nik Bonitto will ever sign in his career. 50-50. Okay, so if he's the same Nik Bonitto in 3 or 4 years, obviously he'll get another big contract. But you can't bank on that. No one can bank on that. In the NFL, it's like you can't look further than 2 years down the road, okay? So you kind of had to, you have to go through and play that game. But in the end, and why I'm cool with the deal is because he took the 26 that the Broncos might have had 24 on the table, okay? So at 32, at 35, at Max Crosby money, makes me uncomfortable. It made me a little bit uncomfortable. But this deal makes him the 10th highest paid, I think, guy, his position, pass rusher.
You thought he rejected a deal, probably even better than this.
Wait, say that again.
Well, after Karlaftis got his deal,
Yeah.
you told me, the Broncos have already put something in front of him.
Yeah, I think there
And
was
it's probably
something on the
close
table.
to the
Karlaftis deal, for sure. Probably that deal.
Well, then what took so long? Because it's not like they went up. I mean, you and I had this discussion before, and we're like, how high would you go? I think our limit or our ceiling was probably 27 to 28.
Yes.
Especially after some of the other deals came in as preseason kind of winded down, getting into the regular season. But it was that they got him for a pretty dang good deal at that point.
No, the 10th highest dude. People thinking like, oh, well, Micah Parsons now this night is going to want to be the 4th highest paid or is going to want TJ. No, of course not. I mean, like, be realistic, and he's realistic. And the rub was he wanted 30, 32. Maybe 35. You throw it out there. Well, how much I'm selling this thing? Well, how much do you want?
Way off.
How much do you want for it? Take $2,000. Shoot. That's cool. Now I saw one sell for $1,200 a while back, and this. Okay, well then make me an offer. Will you do $1,500? And I do $1,300. Deal. I mean, we'll come from here to here. That's just you and I doing a deal together, willing and dealing. So, we were talking millions of dollars. Kawhi Leonard behind the scenes perks.
Wait, what?
It takes some time to get these kind of big deals together.
Yeah.
So, do you know what? I'll say these deals right now, this contract, it's the richest contract for a non-quarterback in Denver Broncos history. So it's more than Surtain's number. It's more than Vaughn ever made. It's more than any guy's ever made other than a quarterback for this franchise. So that is crazy, and that's something to kind of think about. But these are big moments for the franchise. These signings are like, that's why they have these press conferences. That's why, these are benchmark, big kind of deals.
Well, listen, I go back to like another situation where, and this is following a Super Bowl, but like the Malik Jackson decision, the decision to go with Derek Wolfe maybe instead of Malik Jackson. Now, the Broncos at the end probably turned out looking like they were right because I don't remember Malik Jackson dominating.
Jackson might have. You're right.
He was a product of a system.
Yes, perhaps. He was on an all-time great defense.
Well, when he was not with that team, he wasn't the same type of player. What this tells me more so, though, is, Danny, is that this group, this ownership group, the front office, Sean Payton, like we can say they were saying all the right things and talking about them being a Super Bowl contender and whether that was premature or not. But what all their actions since then have proven they totally believe in this group. They're not like, hey, we're going to wait and see how things go. These guys, they think they're worthy. They're confident in paying them these new extensions to keep them around, and they think they're going to be a foundation of a team that can go on and actually challenge and win a Super Bowl.
They own Walmarts, but they're spending like they're shopping at Target, which I can appreciate. Okay? So they're sparing no expense, and that comes with not just having the richest ownership in all of professional sports, but the willingness to spend money at the right moments for the right guys. Like we said, this is not like, oh, this caps off T. Higgins and another free agent who's a Josh Reynolds mistake, as well as re-signing your own guys. This is just part of the maturation of who and what this team is and what it's kind of becoming. It's awesome, and I'm excited for Bonitto. I hope Bonitto becomes one of the 10 best defensive players in the league for the next 5 years.
Who do you credit the most for the culture change?
Ownership. because it feels like just instantly that's what happened. Sean's going to get some of the credit.
You think credibility was instantly established when they took over?
I think when there's no real owner, then who's kind of the owner? You're thinking, well, how does that correlate to what's going on the field? It doesn't. But again, if there's
Keep in
no
mind,
boss
one
here,
of their first decisions was to go ahead and say, yeah, we can pay Russ.
yeah, well, Cello, if there's no boss here, like no boss, well, the boss got fired, and then they're looking for a new boss. You know what we're going to be doing? Anything we want. It's going to be wild. Okay, so I think about just kind of how business runs when there's not all the way down ownership from the top and expectations and credibility, all that.
I think a large part of it goes to ownership, but I think also believe that they know how to run companies.
Yeah,
they know how to run organizations, and they're going to hire who they think are the right people to get the job done and let them go out and do it. They were here at the end of the previous tenured coach, correct? At the very end of it?
Yeah, halfway through.
Sean Payton, I think I'm going to give him a slight nod above just the ownership group as far as reversing the culture.
Yeah.
I didn't think, dude, through that first 10 games of his first year here for maybe 11, 12, until him and Russ blew up on the sideline.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this could have been a mistake. But everything from that point on, once he started getting his own guys and letting some of his decisions play out, you've seen the difference in the team. To where now nationally, I think Chris Sims is the most recent guy to go out and say they're going to dethrone the Chiefs in the AFC West.
Cello's always been a big believer in Coach Payton's some of his coaching philosophies, such as if you kill the head, the body will die. Remember that one? That was. And other, kind of
that
culture
was Greg
builders.
Williams. That was Greg Williams. Come on, man.
That was his defensive coordinator, right? Greg
Williams. Wasn't it Williams?
Yeah, I was thinking Greg Robinson, the old
Bronco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Expand a little bit on the ownership stuff. I just think it's no secret, it's no accident, it's no mystery, and there's a definite correlation to the Walton Penner Group and the infusion of, hey, man, it's first class now all the way, every aspect. You're going to see it, you're going to feel it. The players do these end of the season surveys. And they're asked about all the things within your organization. And then the NFL kind of, puts these things out. And the Broncos, before the Walter Penner Group got here, like cafeteria, they're getting like C grades. Facilities, they're getting low grades on stuff. The way, so they're handling some of the players, that's completely dramatically changed over the last couple of years. And in the surveys proves it. And now the players are happier. They're eating those Uncrustables. No one eats more Uncrustables than the Broncos. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So when you can have unlimited Uncrustables at a workplace, count me in.
Sky's the limit.
Count me in.
Sky's the limit.
So yeah, I really, again,
listen. I'll say this: what would you say most owners like? You would love to own a professional franchise.
Yeah, it'd be
would
the
you
greatest
not?
thing of all.
And why?
Because you would feel like being a part of the winner yourself. Like you want to win.
Would you be using that to make money?
Yeah, of course.
See, I think it was one of the benefits that they have is that they've already made money. They're in this to win. And there's a big difference between like, ooh, could I barely get in? Could I get enough scratch together with a group of people to become an NFL owner?
So you really think that matters? That's interesting.
No,
because
because a lot of people,
if you're a billionaire, then you have billions. But if you have unlimited, like Mr. Unlimited, then it's a different story. It's a different kind of money.
There's a complete difference. And there's only a handful of teams,
I like that.
I think, within the NFL that you're not going to see someone that is just barely getting by to be very dominant. It's like when it becomes the situation of like, why else get into it if you're not in it for winning, is my question.
Okay.
And there's owners of professional franchises all over the world that it's like, it's a business to them. Look at the people at 20th and Blake. Does winning even matter to that group?
They're making a lot of money. I think they feel like winners.
How are you going to live
I think they're feeling like winners because of
that.
that.
Well, that's ridiculous.
And that's how you justify it.
How are you going to live in the same city where the other three professional teams are seriously title contenders, and you're a laughingstock to the point where nationally people just feel bad for you?
Well, Cello, do you know what's unique about that? And we've mentioned it before. The Broncos are the richest owners in the world. Of all of professional sports in the whole wide world, okay?
That's Premier League too?
I mean, I'm saying the owners of the Premier League teams don't have more money than the Walter Penner Walter Penning group,
Walton Penning,
right?
Penner? Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say Pennis? I'm sorry if I did. So the Rockies might be the poorest ownership in all of professional sports, and someone's going to get me with like a NHL ownership group that doesn't have as much money.
But
you're
that's
you're
missing my point. I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about the mentality. At some point or another, you're going to take a little professional pride in what you're doing.
Well,
out
not
there.
everybody does, Cello, because
do you think the Broncos were enjoying it when Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos became like the butt of every joke 2 years ago?
No.
No,
I think that's the.
You're gonna put a stop to it.
I think, Cello, that was one of the big reasons why ownership was willing to move on from Russ and eat that, because of what you just said. The embarrassment, like the true embarrassment. The Broncos had become a crown jewel legacy brand. We call these guys, like the Niners, like the Packers, like the Bears. And the Broncos just started doing this in '77. They didn't play in leather helmets in like the 40s and 50s. So, their greatness has come in a smaller, more recent amount of time. So it's that return to dominance that the Broncos have had here. If it's real, it's because of the Walter Penning group first, I think. Then maybe Sean Payton and George Payton, and then the players next.
Walton Penner group.
Yes. What did I say?
You go Walter Penning. It's the same deal, same difference. Okay. I'll give a slight lean to Sean Payton for just overall culture change, because I think he can influence a little bit more.
Yeah.
As far as I'm not just talking about monetary stuff. It's like he's changing. Like we joked about it, how angry he was about 14 to 17 things that had nothing to do with football in the first preseason game of the year. Now the big question, Danny, becomes, can they live up to the expectation? Are they ready to be put in that upper echelon of the NFL? Because I'll tell you what, I saw an ESPN, I think, NFL analytics thing on percentages to win the Super Bowl this morning. I think there were 8 teams on it. Were the Broncos on it? No, they weren't.
For sure, no. Well, you go look at Vegas as the Broncos as the 12th or 13th. You want me to name the 8 teams?
No, I'm not going to put you through that. But there's a team on there that I would say the Broncos could have just, and it was like 5% chance. It was the Green Bay Packers. And I would say if you put I would say they're very similar in my opinion.
Okay.
One team made it, the other one did not.
All right. So, Cello, the Bonitto deal, as a fan, and what I love about you is I always talk about the money and saying how you spend the money determines the success you're going to have within not only your organization, but even, season to season to season, maybe moreover in the NFL than in any sport. You always say, well, it's not your money.
It isn't.
So, okay, but that's what the fan in you, and I love that about you. So your feeling of Nik Bonitto signed, let's do this thing. Are you going to buy you a Bonitto jersey? Are you that comfortable with this guy's future within this organization? Do you feel good about this thing?
I feel good about the player for sure. I mean, I don't know that he's my favorite player to go get a jersey for.
Okay.
I'm not a big-time jersey guy.
Okay.
But I'd feel comfortable in purchasing it if my kids wanted one.
Yeah.
Knowing that, hey, he's still going to be here. People have been burned many a times here with jerseys.
Yeah.
A lot of Jay Cutlers out there.
Yeah.
There's some Brian Greaseys out there. Some people went crazy with the Osweiler and the Lynch. It's not that case.
Can you wear a Tebow jersey at any time and feel good about it?
I think so.
Me too.
Especially in Denver.
Me too.
Maybe not New York. Maybe not New England. Didn't he go to Jacksonville at one point, too? He went home?
Tight end.
I'm home. I don't think you can pull it off there, but in Denver you could.
Okay. Wrap things up here. It's been a good one. We talked about the Bonitto deal as a whole, and then I like the culture discussion that we had and, the resurgence of the Broncos brand, okay? This entire, start of the Sean Payton era and start of the Walton Penner era.
Yeah.
Thank you, I got it. Has been about the resurgence of the Broncos brand as a whole. So you spend the money, you show your first-class organization top to bottom. There's something to that when you're trying to lure free agents. The complexion of who you are as an ownership group. You can't have that old little Dove Valley complex that they once had. What they're building now is incredible. It's state of the art. It's first class. That's trickled all the way down with these off-season signings to cutting ties with Russ and the embarrassment of what kind of Russ had become.
So what's the prediction then? We'll give a prediction of this Sunday as they welcome in the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward. Give me that prediction. Give me what you think they end in. And as of, what is today? September 4th?
Yeah.
The season opens. When we get to Santa Clara in February, who's in the Super Bowl?
Okay. So I haven't given a prediction like this yet, and we'll be on Denver Sports tonight. Tonight? Allow ourselves to introduce ourselves. I'm ready to do this. I think the Broncos win 11 games, are the 4 or 5 seed in the AFC. The opposite of 4 or 5, no matter who's 4 and who's 5, will be the Bengals. We will beat the Bengals. We will lose in the divisional round of the playoffs to Lamar Jackson in what I'm hoping is some kind of thriller. The Bills in a much closer playoff game than last year. And that game will be good enough to kind of feel like all things considered what happened within the season. The Broncos have truly arrived. They're there. They're in the house now. They're in the house and ready to compete for a championship.
And who's in the Super Bowl?
The Bills and the Eagles. War Eagle.
What's that, Chavi? Oh, he chewed up all that time, so I can't really go. Okay, yeah, the Broncos win 11 games.
Well, let's wrap this thing up
and
now.
And in the Super Bowl, it's the Lions and the Ravens.
You really believe that?
Well, as of right now, I'm giving you – this could change. We're going to do it week by week as the season plays out.
Okay, I like that. Lions and Ravens?
Yep.
And Broncos, what happens?
11 games.
And when does their season end? And to who?
Ooh. It's going to end in the divisional round. The Buffalo Bills.
Okay. That's the show. Chavi, thanks for producing the product. For Marcello Romano, I am Danny Williams. Like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. We appreciate you guys. Anytime you even tune in for a minute or two. Good night, Sheila.
Whatever, Alan. Go inside.